What's up, everybody? Haven't been live with a good topic in a while. I hope you're enjoying your Thursday. I did let some of you know in the community section that I would be going live about this topic, this much talked about topic before. Well, not really. Um, Give me a second. Give me one quick little second. At the time when I first brung this topic, I remember when Kevin Samuels and black men online were saying that black women are going to die alone because you have too high of standards for men and you're never going to get a man. You're going to end up alone in the nursing home, dying by yourself, or just dying in your home all alone because you don't have a man. And I wanted to ask women in the medical field, you don't have to be a nurse, but just in the medical field, that's what I should have said at first. Even if you're not, if you would like to call in, if you just know some tea and you would like to call in, you can do so to get this show started. Okay. Some nurses said they would call in. Hopefully they will. I have to say, was I being a little petty, as someone said, when I first brung this up? Just a tad bit. But honestly, I have to say, I think it's terrible for a person to die all alone with no relatives that care about you, no friends, none of your children. Chi Dubs, come on and call in. Um, I don't think it's funny or a good thing for someone to die with no one who cares about them. But there are so many black men who were saying this online that the black woman, oh, you're going to end up all alone. You're going to die all alone. And I know I heard from a medical professional that a lot of black men are in fact dying alone. A lot of them are not even married. Hello? Turn me down in the background. There's an echo.
Okay. Hey, Sarita. I'm Ebony Rose. I'm a big fan of yours. How
Thank,
you doing?
I'm good. I'm trying to turn the volume up. I can't hear you. I don't know if it's my phone. 347, call after this phone call. Have another
Okay,
call
you can
come.
hear me?
Um, Hold on. I'm trying to turn my volume up. Give me a second. I don't know if it's me. Okay. Okay, say something.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, it's much better now. So, what's your name again?
Okay. My name is Ebony Rose. I spoke to you before.
Hey, Ebony.
I don't call too often. I'd be listening in the background. But I wanted to, I'm not a nurse. I know you said you wanted nurses to call, but I'm a Generation X. Okay, I'm 47.
Okay.
And one thing that I noticed about black women is we be excited that we get marriage proposals. Because I notice a lot of men, a lot of black men, when they get 50, 55, 56, that's when they want to propose to you. They proposing that when you're 56 years old, you're supposed to be excited that you're getting married at 50 years old. And it's crazy.
You know what?
I mean, you had all your 20s. You know, this guy is dating everybody. But when you get 50, I mean, these dudes, I mean, like, seriously? We're supposed to be getting excited that you get you a husband at 52 to 55 years old. That's crazy to me.
And a lot of them don't even live past 55. A lot of the men.
Right. Well, I'm just saying. I got a girlfriend that I worked with for many years. I drove a bus for years in California. Well, anyway, she turned 50, never been married before. 51, she gets married, and it's a big celebration. Woo! You got married. But I mean, 50 is still young. But look how long you got to wait.
Thank you. And you know what? you know what's messed up about it? They would want you to be a virgin. They say close your legs and wait for a husband, but by the time you end up married, your eggs dried up. You can't even give birth. You're going through menopause, waiting.
And then another thing that's crazy that I've noticed about these entitled 51-year-old black men, cerebral, these 55-year-old teenagers, they want younger women, and they want to shame you when you're in your late 40s. You've been on your job for a few years. You're invested in your 401k. You are already a homeowner. And to get shamed that you're going to die alone. How am I going to die alone? I got children from my first marriage that are grown. I got my grandkids. I'm going to have people around me. I see so many black men that didn't do right by their baby mamas. They didn't do right by them. But what's happening is they don't want the kids that are grown in their early, late 20s, they don't want to be bothered with their 55-year-old daddies. So who's really dying alone? Because even if we don't have a man, black women, even if we don't have a man and we have children out of wedlock, at least one thing we do have is the love of our children around us. Who do they have? When they didn't take care of them, they got a bunch of grown adult, young adult children who are grown, millennials or whatnot. They don't want to be bothered with them because they did not help them, they did not raise them, they did not do anything for them while they were coming up. And that's what I wanted to share.
I agree with you. Someone I know in the medical field said a lot of the black men, they're not married in the nursing home. And when she asked them, why didn't you marry? They said, because I don't trust women. And they're elderly, dying. Some of them have AIDS in there. Some of them will have AIDS and are still flirting with the nurses sexually. And their kids don't come to see them. So, also, when you brought up
the kids don't come see them because they mad at them because they left them with the mother. And they didn't help that mother. That mother had to do everything that she had to do. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if you're going to die alone without them, it seems like it's probably more peaceful, to die without them. At least you have the love of your family and your friends, besides having them, because they wait too goddamn long before they want to marry. I don't see how is that the prize for me to have to wait till I'm 50 and, I'm already established and then,
and then
that's crazy to me.
And then if you had children during your childbearing years, you're going to get shamed for having children out of wedlock while you're supposed to wait forever to get wiped up. I've even heard black people say, oh, he's too young to get married. The guy's like 30-something. I'm like, what? So I understand what you're saying. And when it comes to the older men liking younger women, I've dated older men, but I have to say, there was one. How is it he was using a penis pump? He told me he has a penis pump and he wants to talk to me. I'm like, I'm a young woman. If your equipment doesn't work down there, I don't want you. And a lot of these old men.
And then not to mention, for these young women, you guys don't realize when you get with these older men how jealous he's gonna be towards you. He's gonna be jealous of your beauty. He's gonna be jealous of the options that you have. So you got to get stigmatized for being youthful, for being beautiful, for attracting attention from young men and old men. He's gonna have a problem with you in your life with that geriatric 50-year-old black man. You're gonna be going through hell to be with him. Seriously. I wouldn't recommend anybody that is young to be with an older man. Not 20 years older. That's crazy. Because you know what? He done ran through as many women that he wanted to get with and did everything sexually that he wanted to do. And then now he waited till he couldn't almost need a nursing home. Now, I need me a nurse. And so now you're going to be muling to be with him. And what kind of a prize is that?
All right. Okay.
And that's all I wanted to say. So I'll get in the comments and listen the other callers. But you have a great day,
Thank you.
Great
You too.
content, as usual.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Ebony Rose. I know it's controversial about dating older men. Me personally, I'll date an older man if he can provide for me. But I do have a limit on how old I'm willing to go, you know. So, it's your choice on what you want to do. Okay. I am getting phone calls. I'm so excited, but I do want to call Chi Dubs back. Then I'm going to get to Las Vegas and 516 who was calling in. Okay, so I got 3 callers so far. I'm so excited. Okay. But shout out to Ebony Rose again. Let me call Chi Dubs. Give me a second. In New York representing. I get so many calls from around the country. God, let's hear this tea. Okay, give it a second. Hey, Sheena Marie, Tiff, Metadol, Aqua Rose, and so many more. APBXNY. Hello? Chi Dubs? I had Chi Dubs on the line. Oh, you're 516. Call me back. Call me right now, Chi Dubs. Chi Dubs is in the chat. A lot of people don't think that the way you treat your children in their younger years, you abandon them, you're not there for them, and then you get old, and then you need these same children. I remember when my dad passed, he wasn't always around, but I still loved him, and I didn't want him to die alone, so I was with him when he passed. Okay. Hey, Chi Dubs.
Hi, Cerebral.
How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm well, and I hope everyone is doing well. I'm going to be really brief because I am in a prior engagement, but I could not go without coming on this line and putting my input. First of all, I'm a millennial. I've been a practical nurse in New York City since 2013.
Speak up just a little bit. I'm having a hard time hearing you. I don't know if I'm on speaker. Sometimes that can make it difficult. Okay, that's better.
I'm sorry. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm sorry again if I'm in the corner. I'm in a prior engagement.
Oh my God.
But I just wanted to no problem. I had to make an input.
Okay.
I have been a nurse since 2013 in New York City. But before I even get into my experience, really quickly, I just wanted to break down this dying alone narrative. We are all human beings, and we all are going to basically die alone. All our deaths will be an individual experience. What they mean when they say this is we are going to die single. But that is nothing we should fear. Black women live damn near all their life as single women anyway. Correct? Even those in the relationships with these men, they carry most of the burden. They are basically living as a single human being anyway. I worked in a nursing home. The majority of the Black women demographic basically is the most tended to. They always have family members coming to check on them, even to the point where they take over the age jobs. They're washing their mothers, taking care of them, doing their laundry. You don't have to do anything for this demographic. On the flip side, the Black men in the nursing home are one of the worst residents to deal with. They are miserable, they are mean, and when they're not being that, they're being sexually inappropriate or explicit. And it goes to show you this narrative is just fear-mongering. I've seen it myself. We are not dying alone. You may be single, but we are definitely not alone. I just want to implore Black women to do their research, look at the data, even ask friends, family. You will see the information I'm giving you will align with these answers. it is nothing fair to be single. It is something that they are afraid of. They are projecting. So I just want to let Black women know out there, please don't fall for the scandal. These are fear-mongering tactics because they are projecting. They know what's coming for them, and they're trying to use us as a crutch in their own fear. And I just wanted to say I also noticed something very peculiar because normally in the Black community, I have to walk around, Black women and children are thrown to the wayside. But for some reason, when they get to this elderly or tender stage, they are so cared for. So I just also wanted us to notice that. But back to my time, Cerebral, I really appreciate this. I'm going to be in the comments.
Okay.
Again, I apologize. I'm in a prior engagement. So
it's okay. It's okay. I thank you for calling. Okay. Bye. Wow. So she said they're mean and miserable in that nursing home. My God. Okay, I'm going to call back someone in Las Vegas. Okay, the other side of the country. So she is a nurse, spilling some tea. I'm looking in the chat as well, seeing what's going on. Sun Goddess Ari says she wants to be an RN, which is a wonderful profession.
Hello.
Hi, this is Cerebral.
Hi, Cerebral. How are you? Oh, wait, hold on.
Okay.
I need to drop this other call.
Okay.
Okay. Hello. Hi. Okay. Hi, Cerebral. I just wanted to come on the show. I've been in the nursing field for 8 years.
8 years. Are you an LPN or RN?
I'm an RN. I started off as a nurse aide. I was an LPN, and now I'm an RN. I worked at a county STD clinic. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I worked at a hospital. Yeah, and I've worked at a nursing home. So I've seen it in all situations. And when I tell you Black men die alone, they die alone. No families come to see them. If the family does come to see them, it's, the very first time I had a Black man die, I was a nurse aide. And so the man had died. And so I had to help the nurse. Well, I hate to be graphic, but I had to help the nurse back to hospital. So I'm waiting for the nurse to come back because he was a big guy. So we need 2 other people to help us roll him. The man wasn't even cold yet. The daughter is outside. You would think she'd be talking to family, telling them, such and such is passed, or, let's call the funeral home. She was on the phone with the lawyer trying to see how soon they could get his will probated and how soon they could get the money and how distributed. That's what she was worried about. So, Black men die alone. And when they don't, the family's just there basically waiting on a death certificate.
My God. What age, did you notice a certain age that they die? Is it a common type of age?
I would say like mid-60s, early 70s, but they always kind of die from hypertension. I had a lot of stroke patients, and after they would have the stroke, they went through rehab, so they would just get sicker, and then they would end up in the nursing home. And once you end up in a nursing home, if your family's not coming to take care of you, you're going to be in a bad situation. So they would die from strokes. They would die from heart attacks, diabetes. I can't tell you how many Black men that were missing limbs. And once again, not taking care of themselves after they got amputated, just getting sicker. Yep.
So what about the STD clinic? You have any stories from these STD clinics?
Oh, God. I have stories for days. So with that, I'll be honest with you, a lot of the people that came in, I really didn't have that many Black men coming into the STD clinic. Truthfully, I would have a lot of Black women, unfortunately.
A lot of Black men don't go to the doctor.
They don't. They don't. And unfortunately, Black women would come in and they would have something, a lot of times like chlamydia, gonorrhea, the usual ones. Syphilis, oddly, is kind of coming back, I noticed, which I feel like it's kind of an old person. I mean, not to stereotype, because I'm in my 30s, so I'm not spring chicken. But I feel like I saw a lot of syphilis, oddly enough.
I did hear that was on the rise. And usually, isn't that associated with, like, a lot of gay men get syphilis? I mean, I'm not trying to stereotype, but
Oh yeah, definitely. A lot of times when gay men would come in with diseases, they would come in with more than one STD. So it could be like syphilis and gonorrhea or something like that, syphilis and herpes. They would come in with more than one. And for Black women, unfortunately, it would always be like the worst. Well, I'm not going to say the worst ones, but I mean, you don't treat gonorrhea, if you don't treat chlamydia, that can affect your womb. That can affect your ability to have children.
yes.
And that was something a lot of Black women would unfortunately have when they would come to the clinic. If Black men were showing up to the clinic, they were showing up with a Black woman and they were getting tested together, not because they were trying to get tested and do it on the safe side, because one of them had symptoms. And so they were showing up to the clinic. But yeah, the clinic was, that was wild. That was hard.
Oh my God. You know, people will bring up Black women, but the common denominator is they're usually sleeping with Black men who they're getting these diseases from.
Mm-hmm.
So, but let me take this next call, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for calling, okay?
Bye.
Bye.
Thank
you for calling.
To accept, press 1.
Almez B. Girl, yes. Hey, girl.
Beautiful.
How?
Hello, beautiful. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you? Y'all, we all know Maz. Come on now. We know Maz. How are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm okay, just listening to these stories, and I know you have some to tell us.
Good Lord above. Oh my gosh. I was a traveling nurse and I worked for the UN and I was dealing with AIDS back in the 80s. And RAP, MDD, TB, I'm an ER doctor and they only come in when they can't urinate without pain. Oh my God. They don't go to the doctor. They come in with multiple STDs. The women, they think they're in monogamous relationships. It's not the women that are screwing around.
Maz, just talk up just a little bit. Just talk up just a little bit. Y'all, she said they coming in with the STDs. They don't go to the doctor. Okay.
And I just really feel bad for the women. The women are the ones that are catching the brunt of this because the men are not caring about their reproductive health or sexual health. And the women, a lot of the women that I've seen in my career, they think they were in these monogamous relationships. So they're thinking, oh, well, I'm not doing anything, so how come I'm getting this? And they try to gaslight the woman. But yes, they don't go to the doctor regularly. They don't get their checkups. They don't get tested for STDs. And the women of the community are the ones that are dealing with the brunt of it. And they don't like to wear protection.
Lord have mercy. That's why the Black men, they'll say it's the Tuskegee experiment. That's why they scared to go to the doctor. But that's not true. It's just they know that a lot of them are reckless. They're scared. The Black man is scared to death to find out he has a disease. I mean, he could be leaking yellow and green discharge and still not go. So tell me, you were, huh? So
I've seen it.
Oh my God.
I've seen it.
They don't want them to stick that tube down their hole in their penis, So tell me, as a nurse, did you see a lot of Black men dying alone?
Oh, God, yeah. When I was a young nurse and I was working in nursing homes, getting my career when I first started out, because, my nursing degree was in England, and I went to the London School of Nursing. So when I immigrated here, you have to matriculate in order to take the boards to practice nursing here. So in the meantime, I worked at nursing homes as what you would call a CNA, until I was able to, take my nursing exam here. Because, I had my master's in England, but, to matriculate, you have to really, go do the American version. And it took a little time. But yes, it's most of the men that are dying alone in the nursing homes. They have families that they are estranged from. There was a guy that died that I knew that his brother thought he died 10 years ago. He didn't know where he was.
Oh,
And
man.
then the thing is, these old men were trying to flip, and they would always have these nostalgic angst about, I should have married Henrietta. I should have married Ethel. I should have married Mabel. When I was back in the day, I was the man. I had the car, the crib, the kids, the jewelry, the women, all of that. And now I just need a nice young lady like you. And I'm like, I'm sorry, love. No, thank you. No,
now
thank you.
He want to act right.
Right, and a lot of them are dying. They are seriously dying alone. Now, with the black women in the nursing home, if they were on point, trust me, they always died with somebody holding their hand as their soul left their body, and they moved on to another plane. They had, even the women that didn't have children, because women are good at building communities. They're good at nurturing friendships. There's somebody's auntie, play grandmother, play mother, and it was very rare where I saw black women who were dying alone. They were very, very rare. But usually these are the ones that cut off their toxic family members and they didn't want anything to do with them. They were called the black sheep or whatever. But for the most part, the black women, they always have somebody calling in them, checking upon them, being there for them, holding their hand, bringing them food, making in the nurses' office to make sure they were taking care of their families properly. And the black men who have their families around them, those are the ones that were married. They were married a long time. They had one woman. They had children within that union. They raised those children, and they took care of those kids, and those were stand-up guys. Those are the black men who died with their families around them.
Okay.
But for the most part, that was very rare.
So this has been the common thing that we keep hearing. A lot of the men are dying alone. I've heard it myself too from a nurse. And half of them never married. And, I don't understand why so many want to keep the player lifestyle when they're almost elderly. They just need to grow up, mature. So it's ridiculous.
Yeah, that player lifestyle, because, you're young and all the women are chasing after you. But after a while, you're going to stop running, and they're going to run right past you because, you're average at best, and you hit the wall, and your penis doesn't work, What do you have to offer somebody? You don't have any money. Nobody wants a little piddly Social Security check, dude, in your senior apartment. What do you have to offer a woman? You don't have anything. So, as in the words of Kitty Hills, you're average at best.
Oh shit. Oh my God. Yes. So, Almas B girl, I thank you for calling. Okay, y'all, she's on Clubhouse too. Check her out with amazing topics, and she's amazing. So, thank you so much. Thank you.
Great work. Keep up that fantastic work. And I will talk to you later, love. Have a great evening, everybody.
Bye. Oh, bye. Okay. Now the next caller. Calling from Arizona. Y'all, I'm telling you, all over the world. I love Almas B accent. Okay. Okay, from Arizona. Hello?
Hello.
Hi. Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I can hear you good.
Okay, great. Because sometimes in this place I go in and out. I have to agree with the last nurse. I think where she comes from the UK, because I just logged on.
Yes.
Yeah. Listen, I was the one that wrote your statement when you were announcing your live today. I have a wonderful story because I've stated this on a lot of platforms. I used to work for this big hospital in New York City. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It was in the Harlem area. And I used to do registration like 15 years ago. And I've noticed this on my own self because I'm very analytical. Like I see things that I question it. I kid you not. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Majority majority, you could say 97% or 99, or you could say 99% of the black men that came through registration to do procedures or what have you was always alone, okay? Unmarried. Let me give you the example of a registration process. They come in. I'm like, hi, how are you? Let's say Mr. Brown. They'll say, hi, how are you? And I'm like, okay, what's your name? They give me their name. They always be like 40 and up. And then I noticed a big chunk of them were in their 50s. So now, 15 years ago, they probably like near in their late 60s now. I'll come in, okay, are you married? I'm single. And I'm like, okay. That's how they always express when you ask them when you're married.
Like they're offended that you asked them.
Not in the sense. I think it's more like, I'm proud to be single. That attitude, the arrogance, like, I ain't married. Like that kind of, arrogance. Not really like that, but just like a little arrogance, like this don't belong, I ain't married. Like, that kind of attitude, like arrogance. Yeah. Then I'll ask them, who's your emergency contact? My mother. And then came one, and then starting to two, and then three. Then I said, wait a minute, this is a pattern here. Why is it all these black men coming in over 40, single, never married, and have their mother? That's all they tell me as the emergency contact. And they got to the point that I started discussing that with my supervisor, but she was black too. And then we were just like shaking our head. And then every time she comes to the office, and she's like, another one. I'm like, yeah. And this was way before I came on YouTube and everybody was talking about this. And then when the white man comes in, he's always married. I'm like, okay, who's your emergency contact? Oh, my wife there for 30 years. My wife for 20 years. Okay? Mm-hmm. The Asians come in. They're always married, or they have their kids with them, because sometimes they come in, they don't speak English too well, but they're always a couple, or they have their kids. The Indians come in, they have definitely have their family or their kids, because sometimes, like some of them who come from Bangladesh, they have language problems, but they always have their husband and wife. Asians, husband and wife. The white man, husband and wife. Who else? Spanish? Oh, they have the whole village. Damn. They always come in. They have the aunt, the uncle. They always have someone. Black women come in. The lady from the UK is right. She's usually not married, or you will say there's divorce. She will always have her kids or a friend or some kind of family member. She's never alone. But the black man comes in, majority of them always alone. And I'm a proof of that. Wow. And I started looking at it like, what? And also, when they have someone, like a girlfriend or something, they never have a wife. It's always a common law. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's my common law. I don't see a white man, Bangladesh, or the Asian men coming in and talk about that's my common law. It's either their wife or their fiance. White men, they will say their wife or their fiance. Black man come in, oh, that's my common law. Or he's single. And a lot of them do have problems. A lot of them do die alone, because I have a lot of friends and family who work in the sector. They always say that they have no family. No one's there. They died. And they don't have no wife.
They just are allergic to marriage.
I don't. You're absolutely right. Because, and then you know what the trend, what they do, ladies, you gotta be careful. They want to do all the things in the world and everything, and then when something's not going right with them, they get sick. That's when they want to settle down, because now they want a nurse.
And they want them younger, a little younger.
I don't even know why they want young girls anyway, because they don't even want to take responsibility. Young girls just want money and that's it. But like I said, when you had this out, I was like, I can't wait to call in, because that's my experience. This is in New York City, in the Harlem area, and I've noticed this about 15 years ago, and I did my own tally. And it's true. And it's like they don't want to get married. They don't understand that that's the foundation of everything, but they want to blame Black women for everything what's going on in the community. And it's them. They're supposed to be the leaders. They're supposed to be the one that come and say, hey, grab a wife and then, build a community. All other communities are doing that. Why they don't get it?
They don't want the government in their business, so they claim.
What government in the business? No, I don't think they just don't want the responsibility. They just don't. They don't want to. They just want to do what they feel like doing. It's a difference. The kids are around here. They need it. Oh, Black woman this, Black woman that, and then even when working at the hospital, I've seen it with my own eyes. I'm like, white man come in. He have his wife, 30 years, 40. Even if they have a problem, they set up a foundation.
You know
even
what?
When I used to be in French.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll tell you later. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Real quick, I used to sit into Central Park. I don't know if you're familiar, because I know a lot of people from out of state. We have this big park called Central Park.
Yeah, I'm originally from New York.
Oh,
yes, girl. Yes.
Oh, girl.
So, girl, I know.
You know. Okay, so right there in Central Park, right there. If you sit down there all day, kid you not, you sit down in that park all day, you always see couples. You see white couple, Asian couples, even the Indians, and you see the Hispanics, and a little Mexican guys or so. And it's like, you never see a Black couple. And also, too, I used to work downtown, and I used to take the bus on the 5th Avenue. Since you're from New York, you know that 5th Avenue line that goes along Central Park. And it's a shame because the bus that I used to take comes from Harlem. So when I used to get on the bus, I see like nothing but Black women on the bus going to work. You hardly saw a Black man on the bus. And then since it runs down on 5th Avenue is where all the wealthy people live. A lot of them get on there. They have all the white men come on there. They have their rings on their finger, have their briefcase. All of them going downtown, going to work. And I kind of looked at it like, wow, nothing but Black women on the bus, no Black man, and you see mostly white men going down.
Girl, people will try to gaslight and say the Black woman's crazy. You ain't seeing this. Where do you get your information from? You literally observe it. Your everyday life.
Observe it. It's a street thing. I'm very observant. I watch everything. I look and I question things. And this is what I see. I see this every day. I'm on the street every day going to work. I see it. I'm very observant. You go right down 5th Avenue there. You only see white couples and also white men with kids. Go on a Saturday. You see the white men have the kids in the stroller, strolling in the park.
You know what?
Taking their kids, out.
What's your opinion about when Black women and men will say the white man is holding the Black man down and that's why he can't get a job and make it?
It's not. That's a lie. That's a lie, because if you know the problem, why don't you try to fix it?
Okay.
It makes sense, right? If you know that, why can't the get together and then say, I don't believe it. Yes, there has been discrimination and everything, but you know what? You have to have a career. I don't care what anybody say. You have to have something. And I mean, that's not going to stop you from getting a career. If a Black woman, let's say a single Black mother, could have 2 kids, hustle and go to work, okay? 2 kids, deal with the kids with their homework, cooking and everything, and she could go to school. Why can't a Black man who don't have half of that problems can go back to school when he has the freedom? The other day I ordered food from Uber Eats, and the girl who delivered my food was I think she was about 6-7 months pregnant, and she was delivering food. I gave her a $20 tip.
Oh, that is so nice that you did that.
I give her a $20 tip because I said that I came back to the house and I said, look at this chick. She out here when she's supposed to be home resting. She's out here doing Uber Eats she was about 6-7 months. Like, she was kind of thick.
Oh.
I gave her a $20 tip. Why is she out here? Where Daddy at?
I hate seeing that type of shit.
She's risking herself driving. You know what I'm saying? She's risking herself driving, delivering Uber Eats. She could open the door, God forbid, something might hit her or whatever. Like, you know, she could slip and fall, God forbid. And I said, if that woman could come out here with that big belly to do Uber Eats, what's wrong with them?
It's easier for the men to find a job with construction, labor jobs. You know, a lot of them are just lazy, and that's just the damn truth. Hold on. I want you to address somebody in this chat. I'm gonna address them too. We got somebody in this chat called Woohoo87 says Western marriage laws are biased against men, and in Europe it's a lot of common law marriages. Do you have an opinion on that? I'm gonna give mine too. If Western marriage are against men.
Yeah, but why you have common law? Like, you might as well marry. Well, what's the problem? I know it's very popular. Yes, I know that in the UK they have it. But at the end of the day, that doesn't make any sense, because if anything happens, it's like, especially if you have kids.
You know what?
What's the problem? Why you? They don't understand.
It's an excuse.
They don't understand the blessing. It's an excuse.
You know what? Let me say this to Woohoo. Okay, common law might exist in Europe, but who has the most fucked up community? The Black American people. Okay? There is a marriage crisis. The kids are not, the mama can't monitor the kids because she got to break her fucking back going to work all the time and not there to raise the kids because the daddy ain't there. I ain't trying to hear that shit. Okay? Go ahead.
And sorry, bro. Also too, what about the mental? You know how Black women, they're depressed. You know, they have to think every day. It's like you have to think about the kids, especially if the kids are in school, the homework. It's a lot of things going in a woman's head. You know, and they out here free, video games, want to hang out with their friends and have women all over the place, creating babies they can't afford, and they want to blame, oh, you should have. I'm like, I hear it all the time. And I see it all the time. And I'm like, you look at the neighborhood. It's come on. It's horrible. I think the only set of Black men who are doing good, and because the church I used to go to was all African, and we're from Ghana. All the men that was in the church, the Guyanese men, they were married.
Okay.
They all had their career, a profession, and their wives. Their wives were sisters, hips big and everything, okay?
Yeah, I know a lot of those Africans be working their ass off in New York. Even in the nursing field, a lot of the nurses are Caribbean and African American, but they be working their ass off. Because the person I know in the medical field told me, a lot of those African women nurses, they go to become a nurse practitioner, and they'll tell you, go to school, you got to go to school, become the RN, become the nurse practitioner, and such and such.
Yeah. Yeah, well, those are the ones. They're doctors. Every time if you see a Black doctor, they have some last name Akuchabi or something like that. You know, and I don't know. Like even me, I try to do mentorship too, but I noticed that some people, when you try to talk to them about things, especially our own, they kind of like, I guess if I was white, they would listen to you more. Because I try to mentor and say, hey, steer your kids to IT and stuff like that, and school, and sometimes they look at you like, where'd you get all this information from?
Oh my God, Lord!
I'm trying to help you. Like, I'm trying to. No, but I noticed if there was a white person to come to tell them, they'll be all, yeah, that's always been a problem too.
You know. I know what you're talking about. Like when I've gone to a nurse facility or a medical facility, it might be an Indian doctor, and they'll always ask me, "What do you do?" And then they'll always say, "No, go back to school and do this." So I know what you're talking about, and the Black women doctors too. They always want to see you do better, and I don't know. It's a mental thing why some Black people don't want. Like I have a video giving loads of advice on about selling on eBay, Poshmark, how to get easy money. I barely got any views
Right.
on that damn video. I'm mad. Y'all check it out. It's on my page. It's one of the greatest videos I've done. So I have a few questions for you, and then I'm gonna let you even just talk even more. Okay, when you talked
Okay.
about the men coming in the hospital, listen, I observe it going to the supermarket. Every time I go to the supermarket, I see them white and Hispanic women and Indian women, everything not black, with a man in the supermarket shopping. But then I observe the black women, and half the time they alone. The black men is always alone too, shopping. It's just a pattern that I've
Yes.
seen.
Yes, you're absolutely right. When I go to Target in Saturday morning, you go to Target, places you always see a couple, like couples, they shop together. And I mean, it's just such a disconnect. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I really don't understand it. And I've seen it because I know that I'm middle aged. So I've lived through the 80s, young, but the 90s and 2000s. So it's kind of like I've seen a lot, the changes.
Girl.
The changes among the relationships and things like that. But black men, they need to get it together. And another thing too, what a lot of them don't understand is that I don't want to get political because I know everybody has their very different views. But I'm just going to try to tell you this. Just be careful of, they're trying to implement this social scoring. You know what that social scoring is?
What is it?
It's in China. And what they're trying to do is they're going to score you on, like, let's say you have a felony, okay? You committed a felony, okay, you came out. If you want to go to the store, you can't go into that store.
Oh.
This is why, and that's another thing too with me. That's why my brain is very, I see things like that. What's happening, and also look for. Oh my God, I just remembered it. I can't think of it right now. It was just in my brain, and but just look into that. Just go on YouTube and look on the social scoring and see what they're trying to do. And this is why I'm trying to see why they allow the crime to happen.
Okay.
Because that's going to be what they're going to try to do. That social scoring. And it's going to go based on, now you can't live here now. Oh, you can't get that. Because they're doing that in China.
Wow. So if you're a rapist, you're not being allowed in certain places, as they shouldn't be. So.
And then who's committing the crime? Black men, they sitting around here playing around. They don't even see the trap. They don't even see the trap. They just get themselves into it, and they don't see it. And I really feel like that's what's going to be happening, because they're trying to implement it little by little. But look into that. The social scoring is big in China. That's why they have all those cameras around, the 5G. They scan your face, facial recognition.
Okay.
So, when you walk in and stuff, you'll see the video. When you walk, they can scan your face. And then if you have something on you or in your record, it will come up. That's why they have all this data. Social media.
Okay.
That's how they collected all of the data. Oh, yeah.
Someone in the chat.
It's big.
Somebody in the chat shouted you out. She's from Harlem as well, shouting you out. And she also said Harlem Hospital is known for gunshot care.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Harlem is one of the trauma hospitals. Them and I think one in the Bronx. Lincoln. You can write it down, Lincoln.
You know what?
Lincoln Hospital is a trauma hospital. That's where in the gunshot wounds and stuff, they bring those patients over there. Yeah. But when you had posted this, I had to call in. I almost forgot until I came another. Oh no, I want to call in.
Girl,
me being working at the hospital, that's what I've observed.
I'm so happy you called. And speaking of crime, look, you are in New York. I wanted to visit New York soon, but I'm scared because did you hear about that man who smeared his doo-doo in that woman's face sitting down at the train station?
They have a homeless shelter. Let me tell you something. De Blasio, he was the worst mayor. You know what de Blasio did in New York? He started putting, he started putting all these little shelters inside the neighborhood, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're in the neighborhoods. Instead of, sometimes the shelters be like way in by the warehouse or something like that. He's putting them there, so now all of those homeless guys and stuff, because they have a men's shelter right down the block from where that situation happened. So I think that's where he was going or coming from.
Okay.
The men's shelter is right off of White Plains Road in Reed. I don't know if you're familiar, like Bronx, Wakefield. So they have a men's shelter over there, and it's like they have a lot of them walking around, because I've seen it, because I have family to live up there. And they just walking around, and they never used to be like that. But de Blasio started doing that, and then what de Blasio also did was he took a lot of people from the shelter, and he gave incentives to the landlord that he will pay the rent 6 months or a year in advance. So a lot of those people who had the house, the 2-family homes or something, they were rented to them because they're getting that big lump sum of money. Now you bring those people in the neighborhood, one's quiet. Guess what? Guess you know who they bring? Pookie and Ray Ray.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
They'll bring Pookie and Ray Ray. They will, they bring in a lot of that crowd and things like that. So that's why the crime has gone up in a lot of the neighborhoods.
It's horrible.
So New York went down. It's not the way it used to be. It's not the way it used to be. It's the crime. I mean, they talk about the 70s or 80s. It wasn't like that. I was a child in the early 80s, of course, but it wasn't like that. It was only certain places that you go to that. But they're shooting in the daytime. You can't even walk down the street now.
Even slashing. I heard about people slashing faces all over. It's crazy.
In the subways, they already shot 2 people in the car, in the subway.
And every time I see who it is, it's the black men.
Okay.
Majority of the time.
And then a lot of, also too, what I've noticed, a lot of those black men, they do have some mental, because I know too, I don't want to say too much, but I'm just going to tell you, a lot of these mothers, they sometimes put their kids on the medication on purpose so they can get the SSI check.
Okay.
And now, that generation growing up now, they kind of, because I heard a lot of them, oh, my mom still has my check, she won't give me my money.
Okay.
So, that's why I think a lot of them are like walking around, because parents put that just to get the extra money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of that eternal mental illness as well, walking around, and they all young. Some young boys are like born in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. And they have a men's shelter too called Ward's Island. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Maybe the girl who's in Harlem, she know about Ward's Island.
She's in the chat, so I'll be looking out for her response. Give me one quick little second. I want to thank Alexis for the donation. Thank you, Rap MDTV, for the donation. Thank you, Miss Sincere, for the donation. Miss Sincere said, if these men don't have insurance, what's the point of treating them? Doesn't the hospital lose a lot of money on them?
I know in New York they have like emergency Medicaid. They have programs for them. If they come in, they can't turn them away. So they will have the emergency Medicaid, or they have a social worker come and they'll give them the Medicaid. I know they do that in New York. I don't know about other states, because other states run their programs differently. And that's another thing too. If dude don't even have an insurance, then how are you laying down with him? You got to think
somehow
about that,
they manage to still get coochie. I don't know how.
You better, ladies, if y'all going on dates, you better ask the dude for not coming to the physical. First ask him how many women he's been with. And then next day ask him, I'm going to the doctor. When last time you been in the doctor? He said he hasn't been in the doctor for years. That's a red flag, ladies.
Lord.
Okay?
I would just tell them, look,
If you're
we
having
can't mess with each other unless you get tested, and I have to be present with you at the hospital. We'll get tested together.
Or you ask them for their My Chart. They can download it on their phone.
My God.
The My Chart, their medical records from the hospital. They can download it and have it on their phone.
Yes.
And you want to see, you can see the blood work and read,
Now,
it's real. It's real.
I got one more question for you. Have you ever did traveling nursing before?
Oh no, babes, I'm not a nurse. I'm not a nurse.
You worked in the hospital. That's what you said, though, right?
I used to work in the hospital, right?
Okay. It's okay as long as you're in the medical field. Anybody in the medical field can call, not just nurses. So, you know.
But I dealt the registration. I'm the first point. When I did registration, they had to come to me first. So I got most of the details. Information. I'm the one that did the demographics, and that's why I had to call you to let you know that when I used to do it, that's what I used to see. They used to come in. Most of the black men were single and alone and had their mother, not their mother, down.
Girl.
At the emergency complex, and they be in their 40s and 50s, and they living with their mother. Because they have probably familiar with Harlem. They have the projects over there. A lot of in Manhattan, just in case for the ladies who live out of state, Manhattan is like the big hub. That's the city where the fun, Times Square and everything, Empire State Building is. They have mostly apartment buildings there. Then you have to go into the outskirts like Bronx, Queens. Queens is more residential. They have more of the homes, private homes. But a lot of them, they break it down, make it into two-family, but it's more residential there. So most of those dudes, they still live in their 40s and 50s with their mother in the project.
Girl, listen, when I was in Harlem, I see them. If you go out in the morning, they're standing outside with a group of men, and then when nighttime comes, they still out there standing out there, not doing a damn thing.
Yes. 125th Street, they had to close down a lot of stores. I think the lady who's in Harlem, right? She probably will know. They had Best Bath and Beyond. Carol's daughter used to be on 125th Street.
Girl, yes.
Nice stores. Remember? They were trying to bring it up. Even Iman makeup. By the way, I'm not familiar, but Iman makeup is good. Cheap and good.
Yes.
She had her flagship store right there on 125th Street. They closed it down. All the stores. They closed it down. Now 125th Street is becoming like a ghost town.
That's horrible. That's like the place to be. That's the place. It used to be the place to be.
I know. Not anymore. They just had the shootout on 125th Street a couple of weeks ago, and I was just up there. And they had a shootout, and I said, you see how God is good? Right there in front of
good that you was not there. You're safe. It's getting bad. I've been hearing since the pandemic that it's getting worse. So.
And the thing is, they're shooting in the daytime. Back, like I said, you would hear them shooting like in the dark or whatever if you go to certain places, but they're shooting in the daytime. And then and they're placing these shelters around into the neighborhoods. Now you have the mentally ill coming into walking around in the neighborhoods, attacking people. They had a lady in Brooklyn. I don't know if you heard about that story. A lady in Brooklyn last month, the Jamaican lady, was on her way going to work at the supermarket, and a dude just came and randomly stabbed her for no reason and killed her. Yeah, it was on the news.
You know what?
I think 6 o'clock in the morning, and he just stabbed her for no reason. He talked about some, I don't know, claiming that he meant to just stab her.
Listen,
and to me, I think how he stopped her was out of jealousy. Yeah, to me.
I've heard. Listen, the man smearing doodoo. They're pushing people. The homeless black men pushing people on the train station. I heard they're talking about putting up some security around the train station now, some type of block. Beating a woman got beat with a pipe the other day by a random dude.
That's what they're doing. They're angry and they're letting the anger out.
But if you tell some of these women this out here who don't want to listen, it ain't true. It's the white man's media lying. You gotta support all the black men. They innocent. They not killing us. Well, white men kill their race of women too. Ain't nobody trying to hear that crap. But tell me, what's your name in the chat, if you don't mind?
It's Brown Foxy.
Brown Foxy. Okay, Brown Foxy. Girl, I love that you called me, but we've been on for 30 minutes and I have 2 more calls to make.
Of course. I didn't even expect to talk long. I just wanted to tell my story. So,
Thank you.
I mean, I'm happy. I was trying to get my my girlfriend. I sent her your page as well because she's a nurse practitioner. So I wanted to. She said, she was like, that sounds good. I want to log on, but I think she's still at work. So
okay,
maybe you have to have part 2.
Yeah, I thought about that. So please make sure you subscribe and come back on.
Yes, definitely. I love your page. You came up on my feed and I saw this store. I was like, I missed it. So I followed you. I think I've been a new subscriber for like 2 months now.
Okay.
But I followed you. Yeah.
Thank
you're very good.
Like
your voice. Hi. I love Brother Foxy. How you doing?
Thank you.
So, all right. Yeah,
listen.
You're very good. I love.
Be careful out there.
I mean, I know. Let the other callers, I'm fair, so I'm on. And ladies, be careful. Ladies, please, come on. We gotta be careful. Tell your family members. I mean, it's real. Okay.
All right.
They're doing a lot. All right, guys.
Thank you. All right. Bye.
All right. Bye.
Loved her. Hold on. Somebody else was just calling. Okay, I'm going to call 512 back. This was somebody out of Texas, y'all. So far I've talked to people in Vegas, Texas, New York. Okay, originally from the UK. All right, now I'm calling Texas.
Hello, Cerebral?
Hey.
Hi, Cerebral. This is AP, Bronx, New York.
Hey, girl.
Hey, I didn't want to interrupt that lady because she was really dropping some gems.
Yes, she was.
I just wanted to say a couple of things. I'm not a doctor or anything, but I did volunteer at the Veterans Hospital over there on Kingsbridge Road. I don't know if it's still there. And the men were alone. The black men were alone. They had no visitors.
Damn. Was it a lot of them?
It was a mixture. But the men that, I think that I might have been at an award where people had AIDS.
Oh, Lord.
Lord, geez. Yeah, and the men were by themselves. They never got visitors at all. And another thing that woman was talking about the social currency thing, yeah, I think that people need to really be paying attention to that, because that's why I don't get on TikTok, because we're being, profiled and used for experimental, they're looking at our behavior and monitoring our behavior. So all of these posts and everything, they're monitoring how Americans think and stuff like that. And also, I think that I saw this video on your channel, Cerebral, where you were talking about the Africans in China.
Yes.
And they were saying that the problem with black men is that they only look paycheck to paycheck, and Chinese people look 5 generations ahead.
Yes.
And so, I don't believe in bashing people, but everybody can't be wrong about how short-sighted these black men are. They think that this is funny. They just want to party and screw. And then when they get old, then they want to shame black women and say that we're going to die alone.
And we ruin the community because we open our legs.
Yeah. Yeah. And so they keep throwing it back on us, but all of us can't be wrong. They are dying alone. They don't have lasting friendships. Even the people that they were partying with, are they going to change their diapers? Are they going to visit them in a hospital? No. So, yeah, they were in the hospital by themselves.
Okay.
And, you know, my grandmother used to live on White Plains. That used to be a nice area. I don't know what happened. There was a lot of elderly, so that's how they was able to sneak these people in. And my grandmother stayed at a senior citizens community, and she was telling me about all of these marriage proposals that she was getting from men, and how they wanted to take her on cruises, and they wanted to do this and that and this and that. And I said, well, Grandma, you know, you still got it. These men want to marry you. She said, no, they don't. She said, they're sicker than I am. If I go on a cruise with them, it's going to be a vacation for them, but it's going to be work for me, because I'm going to be taking care of his sick ass. He can barely move.
Lord.
So, you know, yeah, they've been playing when they were young, and then when they get old, then they want to propose. You know, after
God,
all of the
it
kids
irritates
are grown,
me.
yeah, after all of the kids are grown, and you did all of the heavy lifting your whole life, the bills, you know, you done paid off the student loan, you done paid everything. Now that it's time for you to relax and enjoy your retirement and travel, now they want to hook up with you. And a lot of times these men, they burn the candle at both ends. I used to be a home health aide. I used to go to people's homes and see how they live. They burn the candle at both ends. And if you're a woman like yourself that takes care of yourself, you're still going to be vibrant at 50 and 60, but you're going to be, it's like going to be like a ball and chain, because you're going to have to keep making sure that they have their medication. One lady, she's a vegetarian, and she is like the oldest vegetarian. She looks like she's 45, but she's like 70.
Wow. Okay.
She is with her husband, and she's pushing him in a she's in a wheelchair, because she was a vegetarian, and he said, I'm not going to eat fruits and vegetables. So even though she's vibrant and she can go rock climbing and jogging and stuff, he's her jail sentence. She's pushing him around in a wheelchair, and everybody keeps going, oh, isn't that cute? You know, father and daughter. And she's like, no, this is my husband. That's how much older he looks than her, because he didn't take care of himself. But he's not worrying about it, because she's doing it.
Damn. So basically, they use you when you're young for your vagina and playing, and then they use you when they get old so you can take care of them and wipe their butt.
Yeah, that's why they don't want to marry you, because they want to do it until it falls off practically. And then after it's damn near fell off, and they have to use a bicycle air pump to pump it up, or they have to take Viagra, and they're sick and they're incontinent and they're bald and toothless and have diabetes and all this stuff, then they want to propose to you after they're all used up, after you've done all of the heavy lifting, raising the kids by yourself, after you've done everything, then they want to marry.
It's disgusting and shameful.
Well, the word needs to get out there, and I don't think that these women should oblige them. I'm sorry. You'll be better off, do like the Golden Girls. Those women, they had a good time. They enjoyed each other. If you want to go out on a date, that's fine. But these men are looking for a nurse with a purse. And a lot of these people, they don't have good jobs. They can't retire, or they're on some sort of subsidized income. And, you'll be using your 401k and all your stuff on them. And they said that when you're sick, you're spending more money out of all of the money that you earned in your entire life in those last few years. Yeah, just don't fall for it. I mean, don't get flattered when they're wanting to marry you after the thrill is gone. They should have tried to get married when they were in the prime of their life. You don't wait until you're on the decline, and now all of a sudden you getting on your hands and knees.
You know what?
You're looking for a life raft.
And they said with the stats, Black women, we get married when we're older, because that's when I guess the men finally start trying to grow up just a tad bit. It's just ridiculous. It is. So.
Yeah. Well, this is a great discussion, and just if you want to do a show, that would be a good idea for a show. Is what she was talking about. It's about the social currency. I've been hearing about this for a long time, and I think that this is very real. And I think that TikTok, because it is out of China, that they are monitoring our behavior and our habits. And I think that social currency is coming here, and it is. There's various forms of it here already, but I think that this is a real thing.
Oh, we shall see. I won't be shocked if it possibly comes here. So I thank you for your call. I'm going to call the last person of the night.
Okay, well, thanks for answering, and it was good talking to you again.
Thank you so much.
This is a really good topic.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Bye. God, bye. I love y'all. So sweet. Okay. I'm calling 267. You are the last call I'm going to do. Okay. For today, the calls have been epic. Okay, give me a second. It's calling. Happy birthday, B-girl.
Hello?
Hi, this is Cerebral.
Hi, Cerebral. How are you?
I'm fine. You are the last call of the night.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm not a doctor or a nurse, but I did work in the hospital for some time as a behavioral technician. I'm originally from Philly, born and raised, and I'm also a counselor. So I definitely see and understand what's going on. I've seen many of the people I've worked with as a behavioral tech are usually men, primarily Black men, and they're usually by themselves. I rarely see them with visitors, no children, no partner. They're usually in their 50s on up. And it's just it's just really unfortunate though, but in many cases, they've pretty much brought them on themselves. So, and as a counselor too, I'm sorry if I'm talking your head off. Well,
no, it's okay. I need you to talk up just a little bit. Can't hear that great.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, that's better.
And I'm also a counselor, and I work with men, especially older Black men. And I'll say out of the caseload of the 30 Black men that I work with, I'll say less than 3 have families, close relationships, and ties. I usually have to help some of them in terms of getting benefits, or even talk to them about life insurance or burial insurance or cremation insurance, because a lot of them do not have that. And
so a lot of them just aren't prepared for anything, and they damn sure don't have a wife if something happens to her for her to be looked out for. They're just basically on the earth, and they don't know what any of that stuff is when you talk to them about it.
I'll say only one of them was prepared. Actually, his sister told him about life insurance, and he was able to get cremation insurance because he didn't qualify because he was over the age of 50. So usually they don't really want to give insurance based on, and he has a subsidized income.
So what I've heard tonight is basically a mess. Every woman that has called has said that they're dying alone, they're unprepared. The white men, the Asian man, the Hispanic man keep coming in, and they have a wife. That's their emergency contact. And every Black man that comes in, their mother is their emergency contact. They're not married, and they're proud to boast that they're not married. And they do not mature, is what I'm hearing tonight. I already knew it, but they wait till they get old and sickly or they need someone. Now they want to mature and propose to somebody after being a player throughout their 20s, 30s, and 40s and not committing to anyone and being anti-marriage and then end up alone in the nursing home. Go ahead.
Let me tell you, as a counselor, I've heard stories of them talk about them in their heyday and how they were such whores. They'll brag about how many women they've been with in the past. They'll talk about the children that they've made, but ask them how their relationship with their adult children are now. It's non-existent for the most part.
A damn shame.
Absolutely. And usually many of my clients will say, well, their children's mother did this, then the third, but when their children's mother passed away, from what they told me, the children are with her. They have plans. The mother took care of them to the point where they helped the children go to college or a trade school. They were usually the matriarch of the household.
Okay. A damn shame. All around from what I've heard tonight. And I just want to thank you for calling. Okay, you are the last call, y'all. She spilled the tea. Also, someone earlier when this was just in the back of my mind. When you talk to a man, me personally, I don't ask them how many women you've been with because I don't want a man asking me that. But I will say it's okay to ask them, have you been tested? And it's up to you what you want to do. But me personally, I would ask, have you been tested? And, let's get tested together. I need to know your status. So is there anything more you want to tell us? Any more tea?
Well, usually they're very honest as they've gotten older. They'll tell me that they've been tested or they've had diseases and back in the day, they've had diseases and did not care who they gave those diseases to. So at this point, I've heard many of my clients talk about getting lady friends, not even marriage or anything. So
a shame.
It's unfortunate.
A shame.
But thank you for taking my call. I really appreciate it, and I love you. So I love what you do in general. I am so happy about it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And make sure you call back in the next call-in show.
Absolutely. You have a good night.
You too. Bye. Thank you, Brown Foxy. If any of you want to contact me, my email is in the chat, but it's also in the description box as well. It's leveledup123@yahoo.com. So, like I said, we heard enough tonight. I might have a part 2 in the future. Player. They want the player lifestyle until they get old, don't want to grow up, don't be in their children's lives, and then when that shit hits the fan and they end up in the nursing home, they don't have anyone. No one's there. Some of them are dying of all types of diseases and are still sexually flirting with the nurses. Some of them have to use a penis pump or they have erection problems and they're still trying to get with younger, vibrant women, who can take care of them once they get older. And like I said, it's not a good thing. I don't think it's good to see anyone dying alone in the nursing home. It's a very sad thing. Hi, Sister Lovely K. Okay, make sure you hit the bell so you're notified. Check out all my older videos. Check them out. Go right on my channel, everybody. I thank you all. This was epic, like I was hoping it would be, and it's great that we actually heard from women in the medical industry in some type of way. Give us the tea. So make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Okay, if you're new to my channel, again, make sure you subscribe, hit that bell. Okay, I'm so happy to see y'all. Hopefully I'll be able to get on my webcam in the future. I want to put it out there. I am interested in starting to use StreamYard and Zoom, where some of you will be able to come right on camera if you want to, and maybe have up to 6 people talking. I'm going to try and test it out in the near future. So, I'm ready to do this. So, Thank you all. You know we're gonna have some haters come for me for this video saying I'm being petty. Oh, I'm against the black men. No, I wanted to hear from the professional women. Okay, these women who've seen it up close, the mess, and we heard it today. So thank you, everybody. Let me shout people out in here. I can't see everything in the chat, but from earlier. But thank you, Nellie Furston. Okay, True Mystique, Yin, Lana B, Simply T's Temple, APBX Bunny, okay, Marie Baker, Venus, Miss Sincere, Miss Poetrix, Miss Helena, Fine Womanhood, okay, D Flash, okay, Black Flower, Grez Soy, all right, Simone Lewis, 116 Harlem 247, Karen Jackson 2009, Bronx Foxy, Chi Dubs. Okay. Thank you all again. If I missed you, the Eve Jean R. Davis. Is it just me? Hey, is it just me? She has an amazing channel, y'all. Check her out. Is it just me? Thank you. All right. Thank you all. TB Girl, Faith, Mass to the Max. So many of you. Thank you for joining me tonight. Bye, everybody.